From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, July the 9th, 2025. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met yesterday evening for another meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House, saying we focused on the efforts to release our hostages. We are not relenting, even for a moment, and this is made possible due to the military pressure by our heroic soldiers. Unfortunately, the Prime Minister said this effort has exacted a painful price from us, the loss of the best of our sons. But we are determined to achieve all of our objectives, the release of all of our hostages, the living and the deceased, and the elimination of Hamas's military and governing capabilities, thereby ensuring that Gaza will never again constitute a threat to Israel. The Prime Minister said the two also discussed Israel's recent operation in Iran and what lies ahead, saying opportunities have been opened here for expanding the circle of peace, for expanding the Abraham Accords. We are working on this with full vigor. Today, Netanyahu met with U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at the Pentagon. The Hostage Families Forum shared a photo today from outside the White House of some family members of those still being held captive by terror group Hamas in Gaza, now for 642 days. Writing the photo follows a series of meetings with administration officials in recent days. We heard once again about the Trump administration's commitment to returning all the hostages. They will not stop until all 50 hostages are home. These are critical moments, and we trust the Trump administration to bring them all back through a comprehensive deal. The IDF continues its operations in Gaza, eliminating terrorists and destroying terror infrastructure. And in Lebanon, the IDF said today it dismantled Hezbollah weapons and terrorist infrastructure in several areas to prevent the terror group from reestablishing itself in southern Lebanon. A new report that lays the foundation for prosecuting Hamas terrorists for the systematic use of sexual violence as a weapon of war during the October 7th massacre was presented yesterday to First Lady Michal Herzog, titled The Dina Report. Herzog saying it presents a legal framework for recognition and achieving justice for those victims who were harmed by the use of sexual violence as a weapon of war and whose voices are no longer heard. Herzog said the Dina report reveals the horrifying scale and intent of Hamas's sexual atrocities. Its findings must echo across the world. The United States today said it is imposing sanctions against United Nations Special Rapporteur on Palestinian Rights Francesca Albanese. For U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio wrote, her illegitimate and shameful efforts to prompt international criminal court action against U.S. and Israeli officials, companies, and executives. Rubio wrote Albanese's campaign of political and economic warfare against the United States and Israel will no longer be tolerated. We will always stand by our partners in their right to self-defense, saying the United States will continue to take whatever actions we deem necessary to respond to lawfare and protect our sovereignty and that of our allies. Albanese is known for her staunch anti-Israel stance and has faced many accusations of anti-Semitism. Well, the first U.S. airline to start flying to Israel once again after the suspension of flights last month during the conflict with Iran is United Airlines, who said yesterday that it would resume flying from Newark Liberty to Ben Gurion in Tel Aviv beginning on July the 21st. Saying this resumption is in line with United's long-standing commitment to serving Tel Aviv. Noting throughout 2025, it wrote, United has flown to Tel Aviv more than any other U.S. airline. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, July the 9th at 7 o'clock, David Harris speaks with author and former Knesset member Einat Wilf. At 7:30, panelists Michael Brenner, Shira Klein, and Kenneth Moss discuss how European Jews initially responded to Nazism, fascism, and other movements. At 8:30, Eric Goldman speaks with Guy Nattiv and Zara Amir to talk about their film Tatami. At 9, it's Israel Maimon on L'chaim. At 10, the ILTV's Insider. And at 10:30, an encore of the news. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, July the 9th, 2025. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.